Hello, my brothers and sisters. Wasn't planning on being back on here, but the Father has one more message he wants me to give to you because he loves you so much. I want to explain to you what's been happening. The Father's ways are so much higher than our ways, right? And he illustrates this to me when he told me to put out a video saying that Jacob's trouble was going to start on March 6, 2021. I got confirmation, did what he wanted to do like I always do, and put out a video saying that Jacob's trouble is going to start March 6, 2021. And he explained to me, in Revelation that it talks about 2 periods of 1,260 days. And the Revelation 12 sign appeared in the sky on September 23rd, 2017. So 1,260 days from that day is March 6, 2021. There is no 7-year tribulation. That was the beginning of sorrows in 2017. Jacob's trouble started on March 6, 2021. We're in it. We've been in it. So, anyways, I did what he asked, and I was all excited because March 6th, I figured, hey, 6th seal is going to open, and we're going home, right? Jacob's trouble's starting. We're going home. So March 6th comes and goes, and nothing happens. I'm devastated. I'm a very emotional person, if you can't tell by some of my videos. I cry at Charmin commercials. I cry when I used to watch Modern Family. So I was devastated for a couple of reasons. I want to make sure I'm hearing the Father correctly. And I wanted to go home. So nothing happened on March 6th. And finally, after I stopped crying and I was able to catch my breath, I started talking to the Father. And I asked him, I said, Father, why did you have me put out a video saying that Jacob's trouble was going to start on March 6th, 2021? I said, nothing happened. Jacob's trouble didn't start. And he said to me, just because it didn't start the way that you thought it was going to start didn't mean it didn't start. I was like, interesting. Could you explain? Could you elaborate a little bit more? I need a little bit more than that. And he says to me, doesn't it say in my word that except for those days be cut short for the elect's sake, no flesh would survive? And I said, yeah, of course it does. I said, but I always thought and assumed that that was talking about the end of Jacob's trouble. And he says to me, where in my word does it say it's going to be at the end? And I say, it doesn't. And he says, my ways are so much higher than your ways. Just have faith and trust. So what happened with this last weekend is he was continually showing me, 312, 213, just like he was showing me in November, December, which I was translating into high watch dates, which he was using to separate the wheat from the tares. Because every time one of these high watch dates comes and goes, more people turn away from the faith. And if you're going to turn away from the faith because of a date that a man set, your faith isn't very strong. Now, you have to keep in mind, too, the amount of confirmations that I was getting for that was mind-boggling. Mind-boggling, right? Because when I put the message out, he wanted me to be zealous about it. I believed that that the 144,000 and the children were going home this weekend, and the 6th seal was going to be open this weekend. Then he reminded me after it didn't, his ways are much higher than our ways. The point of this video is, he is still separating the wheat from the tares. And the story of Moses in the Bible is very, very important because it's a warning. It's a warning. Moses was very faithful and obedient. I mean, look at everything he did for God's people. Because he lost his faith and wasn't obedient just for a few minutes when he was dealing with the rock, wanting the water to come out of it, and he struck it, right? He wasn't allowed into the promised land. Now, I want you to understand something. That was a temporary situation. Obviously, Moses is in heaven, right? But he wasn't allowed into the promised land. That could equate to today as not making the first rapture that's going to happen on May 2nd. So that story is a warning. It's a warning to make sure that no matter what happens or what anybody says, that you keep the faith and you're obedient at all times. Everything is a test. Everything. You look in the Bible, I mean, look how much he tested Abraham, putting his own son on the altar to kill him. After everything that Abraham had already done, everything is a test. He wants to see your faith. You know, I was so convinced that this was going to happen that I left myself no money for this week. But he's taking care of me, right? I had a woman and her 14-year-old son go inland 200 miles. I was so sure that it was going to happen. But see, this is all part of his plan. That was a test for her, right? And she'll be rewarded for her faith. Absolutely. You know, I'm still when this happens, which I'm thinking is going to be on March 21st now, when the 144,000 go in the children, and the sixth seal is opened, because that's 321 or 312, right? You know, he's going to allow me to come back in my glorified body, and with his power and his son's power and their majesty and their glory coming through me so people can see him. All these seeds that I have planted, he's going to allow me to harvest. It's very cool. This is why I don't worry. This is why I don't get upset about worldly things. I'm not upset about the fact that Holly and her son went inland 200 miles. Those are worldly things, right? They don't mean anything. I look at things from a kingdom perspective, which is what y'all need to do as well. You know, it's interesting because one of the things that the enemy has the church fighting about so much, right, and man's doctrines as well, is pre, mid, and post. And there's 3 raptures. And none of the 3 raptures fall into any of those categories. None of them. Because Jacob's trouble started on March 6, 2021. So it's not pre-trib. And the rapture is going to happen on May 2nd, the second rapture, on May 2nd. And that's not halfway through the 3.5-year period. So it's not mid. And it's not post, because the third one is going to happen at the last trumpet, before the bowl judgments, before God's wrath. That is God's wrath, is the bowl judgments. But the church will be lifted out of here before then. That's why it says the church is not appointed to wrath. So, and the tribulation's not over until after the bowl judgments. So 3 raptures, none of them fall into any of the 3 categories. Stop fighting about stuff. Love each other. I was not taught by man. I was not taught by pastors or churches. Everything that I know has been taught to me by the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit and His Word. So I just wanted to pass this message along because He loves you so much. Even though He's testing everybody, okay, and separating the wheat from the tares, He still wants you to know that He is. How awesome and incredible is He? The love is just immeasurable. We can't even fathom it. Stay strong. Keep the faith no matter what. No matter what happens. Trust Him in His plan. It's perfect. It's perfect. All right. I love all of you very, very much. This message is a little bit longer. I didn't even notice, but so be it. Doesn't matter. Whoever was meant to hear the whole thing will hear it. Whoever tuned out early, tunes out early. Not my concern. It's a worldly thing. All right. Oh, by the way, we're going home. We're going home. We're going home. Soon, the 144,000 and the children will be lifted out, and the sixth seal will open. He's showing me March 21st, like I said. If it doesn't happen that day, it's not going to bother me. Hopefully it don't bother you either. Love all of you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.